Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang. Adrian is away. Tonight, new restrictions on travel to Canada from India.
It makes sense to pause travel from that region.
Plus, explaining the concern about a new variant of interest. Also tonight, inside the emergency transport of COVID's sickest, and a tearful Doug Ford apologizes for recent measures.
Simply put, we got it wrong.
The consequences were always the same, that I had to stay silent.
Personal testimony alleging sexual misconduct at the top of Canada's military. And the Liberals set new climate targets.
It is ambitious, and it should be ambitious.
Can they come up with a plan to match the ambition? This is The National. In some ways, the COVID-19 crisis got darker today. Tough new restrictions in provinces east and west, rising case rates, and those spiraling variants. But it's not just provinces. The emerging threat of one new variant has prompted Ottawa to impose its own new restrictions. To slow the spread, the government is stemming travel from two hard-hit countries with deep ties to this one. David Cochran tracks that story tonight.
Direct flights from India account for just 20% of air travel to Canada, but account for 50% of travel-related COVID cases. So Canada is closing its doors.
Effective 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, I am suspending all commercial and private passenger flights arriving in Canada from India and Pakistan for 30 days.
It's effective tonight, but in the last 3 weeks alone, more than 24 flights from India carrying COVID-positive passengers have landed in Canada.
It makes sense to pause travel from that region while our scientists and researchers have an ability to better understand this variant of interest.
Travelers coming through a third country will need a negative test from their last point of departure and will have to quarantine on arrival.
Nearly a third of all international flights landing in Toronto have had COVID on board. We have a small window of opportunity to act, and we must move now.
The Conservatives have been pushing for tougher restrictions for weeks. So have the premiers of Ontario and Quebec, as a domestic COVID surge overwhelms health systems.
We're struggling our own third wave across this country right now, and so anything that we can do that stops further introductions into the country is really, really important.
BC has found 42 cases of the variant first detected in India. It's also been found in Quebec. Now it's in Alberta.
This variant was in a returning interprovincial traveler to Alberta, and no additional cases of this variant have been detected to date.
Okay, so David, the ban is for 30 days, right? Why that length of time?
Well, you heard there from the health minister that this gives them time to assess the variants and see what other measures they might need to take. This also gives clarity to travelers so that they can change or cancel any plans they might have had. It also lets the country make progress on vaccines because, Andrew, Canada should get about 2 million doses a week every week over this next 30 days. So it buys time. And the government also says it may ban flights from other countries as things develop, but the critics point out this move took too long and that on borders, Ottawa is just moving too slow.
Okay, David Cochran, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as David mentioned, the specific variant that originated in India is of particular worry to health officials across Canada. Vicadopia explains what we know about its effects so far and why it has experts so concerned.
A dire situation plays out in India, a staggering 2,000 people dying a day, and hundreds of thousands more testing positive as basic hospital supplies run out. Some of the outbreak is believed to be driven by a new variant, the B.1.617. There hasn't been enough advanced testing to know for sure.
Our health system has completely collapsed. So now there is a lot of work trying to unpack, what this variant is and how dangerous it could be in the coming weeks and how quickly it could spread globally.
It's already appeared in the UK, US, and now at least 40 cases in Canada.
The key thing is that these are two mutations usually seen in different viruses that have somehow come together
And what we don't understand quite yet is what the impact of that is.
Indeed, B1617 is a kind of Frankenstein made of mutations to the spike protein found in other variants of concern. One mutation was first seen in 2 variants initially identified in California. It gives the spike a better ability to bind to and infect our cells. The second mutation is similar to variants first found in Brazil and South Africa, which is believed to be more resistant to our antibodies and more transmissible.
There's the very real concern that these mutants containing that particular mutant may be less responsive to the currently available vaccines.
While this infectious disease doctor says this new version of the virus is still just a variant of interest at this point, it should be treated like a variant of concern.
Because they have the potential, and in some cases have demonstrated in reality, the ability to be more easily transmitted or cause more severe disease.
Regardless of whether it's a variant of concern or a variant of interest, public health officials in Canada say they are continuing to test and monitor for new cases. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, record hospitalization numbers in British Columbia have pushed the province to postpone hundreds of scheduled surgeries.
Next week, 9 hospitals across the Lower Mainland will move to urgent and emergent surgeries only.
It's estimated to last at least 2 weeks, with more than 1,700 surgeries expected to be postponed. There are currently a record 502 COVID-19 patients in hospital in that province, with more than 160 in intensive care. Neighboring Alberta has also surpassed 500 people in hospitals, 518 to be exact, with 116 in ICUs.
Given how high our leading indicators, growth rate, new cases, and positivity rate have been, we can expect to see this number grow in the coming days.
Alberta saw 1,857 new cases today, just 30 shy of its record high set back in December. The province says variant cases now count for 60% of its total active case count. Ontario's cases appear to be leveling off, though still at a very high point. But today, the number of COVID patients in intensive care and on ventilators did hit another record high. And as Ellen Morrow shows us, that's leading to some heart-wrenching scenes.
This is what it's come to. Every day, dozens of critically ill patients transferred across Ontario, 600 of them in the last 3 weeks alone. Medics and machines keep them alive, some traveling for hours to relieve the pandemic's relentless pressure on overwhelmed hospitals.
It's sort of like a revolving door almost. People come in, they end up in our ICU, and then they get sick enough to require a ventilator, and they're immediately sent out so we can make room for the next person.
While a record number seek care, others, even the young, are dying at home.
These are people who did have stable condition and then deteriorated very quickly to their unfortunate deaths.
Today, in isolation and under pressure, Premier Doug Ford acknowledged recent missteps in his government's attempt to lock down the province.
We got it wrong. We made a mistake.
Ford, facing a deepening crisis and criticized for repeatedly ignoring expert advice, finally heeding a key recommendation: do more to help workers get paid when sick.
We will have the best program anywhere.
But no specifics on when that program will begin. The toll of slow action, doctors say, has been grave.
If we hit a critical point where there is no room, then we're going to have to manage with what we have. If we run out of room to send people and you don't have enough beds, what do you do if people keep getting sick?
The specter hanging over ICUs across Ontario. Trying to do their part, many lined up, some overnight in the cold, at this pop-up vaccine clinic in Toronto.
It was super cold, kind of windy as well, snowy, but at the end of the day, it is worth it.
Worth it no matter what, as the devastating third wave drags on. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Toronto has announced plans to triple vaccine allocation in 13 COVID hotspots to try to protect the most vulnerable and slow the spread. Joanna Remiliotis takes us to one of those neighborhoods where the race is on to get the shot and to give it.
Hundreds lined up early for a shot at safety.
One line, people did not book on the other side, please.
Many gave up trying to book a vaccine online or by phone and just showed up.
We've been here almost 4 hours now, so it's really frustrating.
It's frustration and fear. These people live and work in Rexdale, a COVID hotspot, a community now even higher on a vaccine priority list.
So it's really a very good step that they are taking in place to combat this deadly disease.
People here are among those bearing the brunt of Ontario's devastating third wave. Many are essential workers who live with several family members in close quarters. It's why community leaders are pushing to bring vaccines directly to workplaces too.
If we can go to them so they don't have to go through the same struggle of taking time off, which might impact maybe the income or anything else, it's really, really important.
At its sorting hub a few kilometers away, Purelator employs more than 1,000 people. There are precautions, but there have been more than 50 positive cases this year. Vaccines, workers here say, are critical.
You don't feel comfortable because at the end of the day, you don't know what you're taking home to your family.
Public health units are just starting to deploy mobile vaccine units to essential workplaces in the province. The company says it's urgent to move faster.
We need these critical operations that have essential workers vaccinated as soon as possible.
It would make life easier too.
I work at night, so when I come home, I have to come here. But if it's for to be at the workplace, it will be much better than this.
But this is a start to a race that grows more urgent by the day. Joanna Rimiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Canadian officials say the delivery of 1 million AstraZeneca doses from India will be delayed. That country's COVID situation has dramatically worsened, and it's restricted vaccine exports.
We will not see doses this month as the situation in India continues to be the way it is.
Officials here do say, though, they expect other shipments to ramp up, 1.9 million COVID-19 vaccines to be delivered next week, including some 300,000 Johnson & Johnson doses, Canada's first shipment of the one-dose vaccine. Well, dramatic testimony today put a very personal perspective on the crisis of sexual misconduct in Canada's military. It happened at a parliamentary committee prompted by allegations against senior members of the armed forces, members including former Chief of the Defense Staff, General Jonathan Vance. Tonight, the woman whose allegations are front and center. Ashley Burke has the details.
I'm a soldier who served, and that service for me has left battle scars.
Major Kelly Brennan was the first woman to speak up publicly about allegations against Canada's former top soldier, General Jonathan Vance. Now she's testifying in front of a parliamentary committee for the first time.
I was the subject of many intense and unfair power dynamics throughout my career.
MPs knew they'd get testimony about her claims of a long-standing sexual relationship with Vance that she alleges broke the rules when he became Chief of Defense Staff and she was his subordinate. But she revealed publicly for the first time she had 2 children with Vance that he refused to acknowledge.
He fathered 2 children with me. He's not responsible to pay or to have those children under his responsibility. It's all up to me.
Brennan claims Vance recently told her to lie and cover it all up. She says it's on tape and she's handed over those recordings to military police.
That I was not to mention certain things about our relationship, our personal lives. The consequences were always the same, that I had to stay silent.
She also testified that Vance claimed to have Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan under his control, and she believes the military police's investigation is not being taken seriously.
The CDS told me he was untouchable. He owned the CFNIS.
And Ashley, what else did we learn tonight?
Well, Brennan revealed she was interviewed for 2 days by the Canadian Forces National Investigative Service for 6 hours a day in February, and says she handed over recordings, emails, and texts to that branch of military police. Vance has told Global News in the past he denies the allegations, and today the government confirmed that he was officially released from the military last week.
Okay, Ashley Burke in Ottawa, thank you. Well, to the international fight against climate change now, and tonight, the clearest indication yet that the U.S. has rejoined it.
all of us, and particularly those of us who represent the world's largest economies. We have to step up.
Joe Biden, taking a more aggressive public stance than his predecessor, pledged to cut emissions of greenhouse gases in half, at least below 2005 levels over the next decade. Canada upped its target as well to cut emissions by 40 to 45% below those same levels by 2030. So how realistic is that promise? And what will it cost Canadians to achieve it? Our Salima Shivji went looking for answers.
It was billed as a push for more ambition for everyone.
The United States sets out on the road to cut greenhouse gases in half by the end of this decade.
With the U.S. back in the climate game, calling on other countries to do more, the urgency undeniable.
We're legislating to deliver 78% of the reductions needed
to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030.
Thank you.
Canada, too, announcing its new goal, slightly lower than some other nations.
Our new climate target for 2030 is to reduce our 2005 emission levels by 40 to 45%.
Setting a climate goal is one thing, meeting it quite another. This week's budget showed how the Liberals plan to get halfway towards their new target, but not all the way. Still, the government argues ambition is crucial.
I used to run technology companies, and if you said at the beginning of the year you're setting a target that you know exactly how you're going to meet at the end of the year, your board would tell you you're not being ambitious enough.
The Liberals have already ramped up their carbon price to hit $170 a ton in 2030. Coal phase-outs have been calculated. Our electricity grid is mostly clean. There's not a lot further to go.
And it's asking for a big transformation from the oil and gas sector in 10 years, not 15, not 20 years. So it's possible, but it's going to hurt.
An easy target to miss, he says. It means cutting oil production, transitioning to clean jobs, and a nasty political fight with provinces like Alberta. But the calculus is, as hard as it may be, Canada needs to be at the table, and more global action will add more pressure on Canada to finally make good on its climate promises. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
So an ambitious goal, but are political ambitions also at play? At Issue looks at that a little bit later. But first,
this situation scares me.
In Nova Scotia, a third wave crashes ashore as the province tightens its borders like never before.
Do you have any identification I can see just to verify that?
Another emotional day in Minneapolis at the funeral for another black man killed by police.
It is the right thing to do to fight for our children.
And the medical teams who took a risk to save a little boy with cancer.
We were just blown away, and we immediately burst into happy tears.
An exclusive look at a surgery that almost didn't happen. We're back in 2.
If we don't take our current situation seriously, it could take a very wrong turn very quickly. I'll be honest with people. This situation scares me.
Well, Nova Scotia is reimposing tough COVID-19 restrictions after reporting 38 new cases today, its highest count in almost a year. Effective tomorrow, Halifax and some surrounding communities will enter a 4-week lockdown. That means no visits to long-term care homes, no more indoor restaurant dining, no in-person social sports or cultural events, plus hair salons, barbershops, and spas will close. Also, all non-essential travel in and out of the Halifax region strongly discouraged. These new restrictions come after Nova Scotia took the drastic step of closing its provincial borders to non-essential travel for most of Canada. Kayla Hounsell examines the consequences of that move and the reaction to it.
Visitors to Nova Scotia are used to a warm welcome, but today there's a new sign in town.
Do you have any identification I can see just to verify that?
Nova Scotia's border is getting tighter, much tighter.
And understand that we are prepared to turn away people at our border.
Until now, visitors have been able to come to Nova Scotia as long as they agreed to self-isolate.
Does he stay in residence or does he have his own apartment? Yeah, okay, is there any other people in that apartment or is it just him?
This man from New Brunswick is trying to pick up his son from a Nova Scotia university. He's waved through, but with a warning.
And if you absolutely need to, you can use the washroom because you're not that cool. But straight in, straight out, wear your mask and do not make a purchase. You can be subject to a $1,000 fine, okay? Wow. I know.
It's more complicated for this man from Montreal. He's a truck driver.
Well, apparently I'm essentially in my truck, but not in a rental.
He's not in his truck because it broke down in Nova Scotia, and he's trying to go get it after having returned to Montreal. Confusing for him, but probably worth it for Nova Scotia, he says.
Because they're not going to end up like Quebec and Ontario.
And that's exactly the idea. Essential travel only. People won't even be allowed in for funerals. And if you think you might squeeze in through the airport, not so.
We are saying do not travel to Nova Scotia at this time.
Strang says there's been a 400% increase recently in people coming into Nova Scotia here at this border. Many of them are coming from Ontario, which he says is of particular concern because they're at a higher risk of having the virus.
And then if they're in here and it's much more transmissible, that's what we're seeing. We need to slow down the flow of people that are coming here.
Most drivers are understanding.
I think if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. You know, I've got no problem with it at all.
And if it needs to be done, at least those doing it are friendly.
Thank you very much, sir. You have a great day.
As is the Maritime Way. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border.
Let's head to the West Coast now, where BC's case rate was back above 1,000. Further tightening is coming as soon as Friday on non-essential travel within its borders. But as Briar Stewart explains, there's growing concern that BC's just not doing enough to keep outside cases from coming in.
In Revelstoke, BC, it's the shoulder season. The snow has melted and summer tourism won't kick off until May. That is, if it does at all.
It's very difficult because we're being asked to turn bookings away at a time where we're teetering on bankruptcy.
The province has signaled that as early as Friday, it's going to ask hotel operators to cancel or not take bookings from any guests who aren't from the same health region.
We can't be told to go open, close, gray area, not gray area, without the financial support required, particularly for the hospitality business.
Officials have hinted there may be check stops at ferry terminals and along major highways, but the only change at the Alberta border will be new signs telling people to only travel if it's essential. Josh McLafferty says any further clampdown will hurt business, but he wonders why officials didn't do more earlier.
A lot of people in the province has been asking for this for a long time, and now it seems like we've waited far too long, and now the problem's gotten out of hand.
After a surge of cases in Revelstoke, vaccination was opened up to anyone over 18 earlier this month. It's a similar story in Invermere to the southeast. It too was labeled a hotspot and is now doing mass vaccinations.
For any community on this border, it's very, very difficult for us at this point because we just want a good, healthy summer.
This researcher is working on an international project on the pandemic and border controls.
We haven't had a concerted effort. There hasn't been coordination at the federal or provincial levels to try and deter provincial travel. And, we see that in the gaps with this new package of measures as well.
By that she means domestic flights are still operating. So while travel around the province is being discouraged, people are still able to come to BC. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
And ahead tonight, the doctors who took on a risky surgery to save a baby boy with cancer.
Oh, it is all out, and I just had tears in my eyes.
Exclusive access to an extraordinary medical procedure. First, though, Rosie's here with At Issue.
Hey, Andrew, tonight we're going to talk more about the federal government's new climate targets. Is this a realistic political promise? Plus, Doug Ford's pandemic apology, what it tells us about the state of leadership in the province of Ontario. That's coming up next with Chantal, Andrew, and Althea. President Biden urged countries to step up in the fight against another global threat.
This is a moral imperative, an economic imperative.
Hosting a virtual climate summit, Biden pledged more ambitious emission reduction targets, a call Canada also answered today.
Our new climate target for 2030 is to reduce our 2005 emission levels by 40 to 45%.
But the plan to get to those new targets has yet to be laid out.
We need to signal that we are going to have further ambition.
So are these new targets an attainable political goal? And what kind of pressure is Canada facing from its allies, if any? It's Thursday. I'm here with At Issue. Chantal Hébert, Andrew Coyne, and Althea Raj. Lots going on in the news. So we're gonna talk about this, even though we had a huge budget on Monday. We'll talk about this today. You heard there from Minister Wilkinson defending the government's decision to set these new targets. But in spite of that, not really putting forward a plan of exactly how that's going to happen. Chantal, I'll start with you. What do you make of the targets and the timing?
The targets, the budget laid out
the notion that we would beat the 30% target and reach 36. 40 to 45, when you go to 40, isn't a huge significant difference. I don't think that we should be letting targets overshadow the really big shift in the paradigm that today was about, and that is the U.S. position. Yeah. Since Justin Trudeau has been in power, he's had mostly head in his face coming from the U.S. Now he's being dragged or pushed to more action, but not just Justin Trudeau. Canada is by the U.S., and that matters because we are part of that trading zone, and the sheer fact of the summit and the fact that the U.S. insisted on more ambitious targets from those who wanted to be invited or were invited sends a clear message. And if you know anything about Canada and the U.S., it is that when the Canada pushes the U.S., maybe it doesn't notice, but when the U.S. is pushing Canada, we sure notice.
And the U.S. targets are obviously higher than ours. They're 50% below what they had promised previously. So Andrew, is this a case of the U.S. pushing us in the right direction? Is it a good thing they're there? Does it make it easier for us to have more ambitious targets?
It makes it easier to say the targets. It doesn't make it any easier to hit them. I think both the size of the target and the timing of it had a lot more to do with politics than either science or economics, both in the sense of wanting to at least be somewhere in the ballpark of the new U.S. target, but also to show up the conservatives who just recently signed on to a plan that they say will get us to the old 30% target. We can debate whether it actually will or not, but we can debate that also, perhaps not as vociferously, about the Liberal plan. Remember, we just heard we just got the numbers from the 2019 emissions, in which we are still basically where we were at 2005. So in 14 years, we basically made no progress. But in the next 9 years, we're supposed to get to 30, now 36, now 40, now 45% emissions reductions. I'll believe it when I see it. And at the very least, we're going to have to see what enhanced plan. We only just got the plan that was going to get us to 30% a couple of months ago, and even that's no sure thing. It's a better plan than we've seen before, but it remains to be seen whether we'll actually achieve it.
Althea, what did you make of it?
I agree with both of my esteemed colleagues. The government has introduced a plan to bring us to the current targets that they had or announced up until today. And as Andrew rightly points out, we're not there yet. We're just on the road to possibly meeting those targets. I think we were shamed into having larger targets. We are the laggards around the G7. Our reputation internationally does not match what we've actually done. It will be hard to get there. A lot of the stuff that will be easier for the Americans to do to get rid of coal-fired plants, for example, we've already done that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just in terms of the U.S. having done the things that we've already done. Sorry to cut you off, and that we still have to. If we are serious about this, what do we have to do with the oil sands in order to start moving towards those kinds of targets that we put forward? I'll just do one more round on this, Chantal.
Yes, more low-hanging fruits left in the U.S. Thank you, Donald Trump, says Joe Biden. So it's easier to say, I'm going to go for a bigger cut. But I agree with Andrew. There's election politics involved. Bottom line, unless the polls change dramatically shortly, there are two parties who will form the next government, the Conservatives or the Liberals. At this point, you have a choice between the Liberals who are saying we really want to do a lot better than we've been doing, and the Conservatives who are saying we're okay with doing less than we have just committed to. So I think for the Liberals, there was no downside in the immediate in doing what they did today.
Quickly, Andrew and Althea, I'll get you to final thoughts on that.
The more ambitious our targets, the more essential it becomes that we use the most efficient possible means to get to them, because the costs are that much higher if you don't. I think this puts greater on us to make more heavy use of carbon pricing rather than regulations and subsidies, which have been proven to be much more costly. And I would hope that will be the result of this, rather than What I fear it will be is that we're going to use every means, no matter how costly, to try and hit these targets. The world does not end if we don't meet our targets. We should try, but the world doesn't end if we don't.
I think this is a traditional liberal ideal position, Goldilocks, better than the Conservatives, not as dramatic as what the NDP wants, which is 50%, not as dramatic as what the Greens want, which is 60%, which would cost a lot of money. I cannot see, however, the Liberals going into campaign arguing for a carbon price that's in the $400 range.
Okay, I want to switch gears to the political response to the pandemic here in Ontario, because the Premier did attempt a mea culpa today. Here's what he said.
These decisions, they left a lot of people very concerned. In fact, they left a lot of people angry and upset. I know we got it wrong. I know we made a mistake. And for that, I'm sorry, and I sincerely apologize.
Okay, we've seen a lot of apologies, all of us, in our day. What did you make of that one, Chantal, in terms of what the Premier was trying to do, which is really a plummet in the polls, I would say, over the past week?
Not necessarily going to accomplish that. If you're living in a crisis, what you saw today was someone who was offering no real new way forward, just trying to stop his decline in public opinion. You can have sympathy for the burden of having tried to manage a pandemic for over a year, but sitting from this distance, it mostly sent the signal that Ontario's way out of the pandemic is not going to be led by the Ford government, that it has run out of ideas. I don't think people were angry about swings. They were angry about wrong solutions to an acute problem.
Yeah, and I mean
that didn't get resolved today.
And to that point, there are public health authorities, mayors, city councillors, everyone else pushing the government in the direction that the scientists want them to go in when the government won't do it. Anyway, Andrew, your thoughts?
I think Doug Ford benefited going into the pandemic from very low expectations. People were relieved to discover that he wasn't Donald Trump. He's never been Donald Trump. He's basically the same Yahoo thug and con man that he always was. And while he was able to coast through for a long time without that becoming painfully apparent, as the pandemic has worsened, the government is clearly panicking and thrashing about. And part of that is because decision-making is so centralized, as it is in every government, in the Premier's office. And I don't think he's getting good advice. And he's a guy who needs a lot of good advice. People can take a lot of pain and sacrifice if they think people in power have some kind of plan and some kind of direction and some kind of cool head.
Yeah.
But when they see them panicking and thrashing them about, that's when the wheels really start to fall off in terms of public opinion.
Or you can take it when you know that a government's holding up their end of the bargain, and it doesn't feel, I think, like that for many people in Ontario. Althea, your thoughts?
I don't think the problem is that he's not getting good advice. I mean, the wonderful thing that COVID has brought us is the transparency in what governments are actually hearing from experts. I think he's just choosing not to listen to those experts.
I mean political advice from his...
You mean political advice?
I mean, political advisor.
Sure.
Let me make that clear.
Yeah, go ahead, Althea.
I think the political advice he's getting is about politics and constituencies as opposed to what the proper health advice is. You know, today, and I hate to criticize somebody who goes on TV and says, you know, I'm sorry, because I think that is something that we would like to see from our leaders, that when they do something wrong, that they apologize for it. But he seems to be apologizing for the wrong thing. You know, he went on TV to say that he's apologizing for doing too much. Well, nobody is upset at him because the playgrounds were cut or closed. They're upset with him because he's not introducing sick days. He's not curbing the containment of COVID in essential workspaces. I mean, that's why people are upset.
Yeah.
And so it feels rather actually tone deaf of the Premier to be suggesting these things and blaming everybody else. As he says, he's accepting responsibility, blaming the feds for the border, blaming the feds for the vaccine, blaming the feds for the sick leave, when a lot of these responsibilities are on his shoulders, and he ran for this job. He wasn't appointed to it.
Yeah. Last word, Chantal.
I've noted before last Friday that the premiers who don't spend their time going after the federal government and Justin Trudeau over vaccine supply and get on with the business of vaccinating. I mean, François Legault in this province, John Horgan in BC, seem to be faring a lot better with their electorate than those who are spending their days tearing up their shirts saying it's all somebody else's fault.
Yeah, even Scott Moe has sort of gotten on with things as well in Saskatchewan. Okay, got to leave it there. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you being here twice this week. Before we go, be sure to subscribe to At Issue, the podcast, for extra content. We're going to continue our conversation about Ontario and other provinces. Plus, we'll get the panel's take on this story.
I am suspending all commercial and private passenger flights arriving in Canada from India and Pakistan for 30 days.
You can find that on any major podcast app, our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational. Now, though, back to Andrew in Toronto.
Well, just days after a guilty verdict in the murder of George Floyd, a stark reminder there are more battles to be fought.
I never imagined that I'd be standing here. The roles should completely be reversed. My son should be burying me.
Next, the emotional goodbyes and calls for justice at the funeral of Daunte Wright. Plus,
it kind of just felt like you were in a movie or something. You're like, this can't be happening.
the daring surgery to remove a nearly 3-pound tumor and save this little boy's life. Welcome back. It has been another emotional day in Minneapolis. Today, the focus was the funeral for Daunte Wright, the black man killed by police during a traffic stop just over a week ago. Susan Ormiston takes us through a day of mourning and the calls for justice.
Just as Minneapolis emerged from the Chauvin verdict, another family mourned, this time for a young black man, 20-year-old Daunte Wright, shot dead by police only 11 days ago. To the sound of "Oh Freedom," a black spiritual, civil rights leaders, family and friends gathered to memorialize him. A son, brother, and father to a 1-year-old, his mother Katie struggling to say goodbye.
I never imagined that I'd be standing here. The roles should completely be reversed. My son should be burying me.
Dante Wright was pulled over in Brooklyn Center, police say because of expired tags on his license plates. But a routine traffic stop turned deadly when police officer Kim Potter yelled taser but pulled her gun.
How did Officer Potter see Dante Wright? But more importantly, how does America see our children?
Ben Crump, the Floyd family lawyer, will seek justice for the Wrights as well, urging to keep up pressure at a pivotal time in America.
It is the right thing to do to speak up for our children. It is the right thing to do to fight for our children. Because if we don't fight for our children, we can't expect nobody else to fight for our children like us.
In the wake of Chauvin going to jail, some are calling for murder charges against Kim Potter, currently facing manslaughter. Civil rights leader Al Sharpton tying up George Floyd's painful chapter and sending a pointed message to police and politicians.
Your tags of racism has expired. Your tags of police brutality has expired. Your tags of white supremacy has expired.
As Dante Wright is laid to rest, a renewed sense of urgency and resolve. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Minneapolis.
Well, it was an unthinkable diagnosis for a Winnipeg toddler, not even a year old.
The tumor was compressing his kidneys, other organs in his abdomen.
Next, an exclusive look at how doctors beat the odds to save his life.
I'm Elaine Chow, in for Jamie Poisson. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, for weeks, tens of thousands of Russian troops were within striking distance of Ukraine's border. And now, a sudden withdrawal. So what was behind the escalation? Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Tonight, we have an exclusive broadcast story about an incredible little boy and the medical teams at 2 Canadian hospitals that fought against all odds to save his life. Christine Birak tells us about the one-of-a-kind surgery that almost didn't happen.
Okay. Felix isn't even a year old yet, but he's already been on a daunting medical journey. Felix. One that his parents, Julie and Paul Devin, never saw coming.
2 doctors came in and sat down, and I was like, what's going on?
At 4 months, Felix was being fussy. Devin suspected a urinary tract infection. She took him to the Children's Hospital in Winnipeg, where doctors found something unusual.
They kind of started telling me that there was a tumor, and then it kind of just felt like you were in a movie or something. You're like, this can't be happening.
Imaging would reveal Felix had rhabdomyosarcoma, a large cancerous tumor in his abdomen.
That was something I haven't seen before.
Dr. Sapna Oberoi was leading the team treating Felix. Despite 2 rounds of chemotherapy, the tumor kept growing.
The tumor was compressing his kidneys, other organs in his abdomen.
Within months, it grew from the size of a grapefruit to a basketball. Too upsetting to show. Doctors told the Devins Felix may not survive.
I remember just breaking down completely when we had that conversation.
Some experts said the tumor was inoperable, too big and too complex to remove. Then surgeons here at Sick Kids Hospital stepped forward to say they would try.
My assessment was that we could do it. It would be risky.
Surgeon Blaine Amir Syed says he'd never seen a tumor that large in a 6-month-old baby. It was now pressing on Felix's heart, liver, and kidney. The mass was also stealing blood from his other organs.
From the beginning, it was a very challenging case. Once we had taken down some of that blood supplies, then it was a question of, can we get it off the liver? Can we get it off the bowel and all the blood supply to the bowel? Can we get it off of the aorta and the vena cava and the kidneys behind it?
Felix's surgery in early February started at 8 a.m. It took around 8 hours, an eternity for his parents. But when the phone rang, they were all nerves.
When she said the whole tumor was removed, we were just blown away, and we immediately burst into happy tears again.
Doctors in Toronto also texted their colleagues in Winnipeg.
Oh, it is all out, and I just had tears in my eyes.
The family flew home in March. Felix is still receiving treatment, but he's progressing like a typical 9-month-old. His parents are still overwhelmed by all the care and cooperation it took to save their son during a pandemic. And they shared some advice that got them through dark times.
Take it day by day. Don't give up hope. Try your best to just get every option available.
A message also conveyed by that smile.
Go, dude!
Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
That's an incredible story. Okay, next, a reminder on Earth Day about the importance of perspective. We turn to a former astronaut for the long view and a little out-of-this-world inspiration.
The COVID vaccination process is underway across Canada.
I'm looking forward to seeing my grandchildren.
When can you expect to have it in your province, your community, and in your arm?
You can give a thumbs up.
For all your vaccine updates, stay with CBC News.
Hey, welcome back. So take a look at this tweet from Chris Hadfield today. The former Canadian astronaut tweeted, "Earth Day was the very first time I truly saw our planet. No filters or biases, just all of us together through the thin plastic visor of my helmet." It's a pretty unique perspective, that's for sure, but one that we can all certainly aspire to. So for his thoughts on this Earth Day, we connected with another former Canadian astronaut, Dr. Dave Williams. His words are our moment.
This is the 51st year that Earth Day has been celebrated, and the image of the beautiful blue oasis of the planet Earth from space is one I'll never forget. It's a remarkable perspective to stand on the end of the Canadarm during a spacewalk and see the majestic beauty of the ever-changing vista created by the clouds below. There are no borders between countries that can be seen from space, reminding us that we're all in this together in our global village. Earth Day is a reminder to all of us to take a minute and appreciate the beauty of our global village, to celebrate the diversity of life on it, and to consider the power of working together to protect it for future generations.
We thank Dr. Williams for those words. A hard message to disagree with, a hard message to top too, so I don't think I'm going to try. We'll leave it there. That's The National for this April 22nd. Have a great night.